New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hello. Hi, I'm Donna with Your Phoenix is Rising. And this is Corbin, one of my daughters in love.
Hello.
And today, this is Caring for Caregivers. We are talking about those things that help those of us who care for others. And so I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm a registered nurse. I was on the front line of this COVID crazy is what I call it. I've also been a bedside nurse now for 8 years. And I have realized that we nurses don't nurse ourselves very much. And so we give. And what ends up happening is we get depleted. And also, I'm also a practitioner with the Center for Spiritual Living, Ocala. And so this is one of the things that we do for our people in our community is give them tools to help replenish. And all of us are taking care of somebody. And in Corbin's case, she's my daughter in love, and she is a new mama. Our very first grandbaby, y'all. Corrine, this is one of her mamas. I'm so excited. And she cares for this baby. How old is Corrine now?
She's like a year and a half now. Her birthday's in January.
A lot of noise has entered their life. Newborn baby, what's that like?
It was very tiring at first. It was all Talia though. But once I started helping, then it was a little bit equaled out. And when she got her voice, that's when it started getting crazy. Yes. She got her voice, and it's constantly screaming and screaming. It's so loud.
What we're talking about, you can't turn off newborns. No, you want to sometimes, but you can't turn them off. So you have to replenish yourself as a caregiver. As a new mom, you got to replenish yourself. So that's what we're talking about today. And today's topic on caring for caregivers, guess what that topic is? Plants. House plants. And that is why I've invited Corbin here today to talk with me, because I have been nurtured by these amazing sentient beings called plants. And I just wanted to just look at this. This picture in the background, you guys. This is a little tiny plant that is re-emerging. It is a hibiscus, and I took a picture of it while we were at Tingalayas in Jamaica. Yes, last year in our group adventure in Negril, Jamaica. We met at Tingalayas, and it was amazing, and we're going back again this year in October, and this plant was there, and I just took a picture of it. And this just feeds my soul, because I really feel like we are in an amazing symbiotic relationship with plants. And I've always talked about nature, but specifically house plants, the ones that are inside, that have been outside and are now being, domesticated like our pets. These plants serve a beautiful, beautiful way of getting us out of our heads and back into the truth of being, which is connecting to the allness, right? And then replenishing ourselves. So before we even do any of that, I wanted to take us into a centering moment. I already started this with Corbin. She's getting a crash course in our home since she's been here with Emmanuel, our son. And so we both decided, it's a green screen, so that's why you can't see the bottle, it's green, but It says stress away. We use Young Living oils, essential oils, not to plug any one company, but I just really like this one. And I like the way it smells. And so we put a little bit on our hands, and a tiny bit more, maybe a bit more. And so those of us who occasionally experience anxiety, this is one of those wonderful ways to reconnect to our body and to our being in the moment. I use, because I experience it from time to time, I really do. More often than I'd like to admit sometimes, but I do experience anxiety. And so I just like to invite you now that if you do essential oils, if you're a smell person, like I'm a smell person, and so I do essential oils, and this particular one, Stress Away, I put it on my hands, I rub it around, get it nice and warm, and I just take it in. And all we're doing, if it works for you to close your eyes, then you close your eyes. If it doesn't work for you, that's okay too. Some people are driving when they're listening to this. It's all right. Whatever you are, just take a moment to become aware of the breath. Just allow your shoulders to gently drop. Another deep breath in. Becoming aware of your heartbeat in your chest. A third time, deep breath in. In that very moment, we are just in a dance with that part of the universe that is called trees. These amazing beings that take the carbon dioxide from my body, assimilate it, and return to me that which is nourishing, which is oxygen. In that very breath, I am in a dance with everything around me. I know it's true for me. I know it's true for Corbin. I know it's true for everyone else. People listening, we're all in that dance together. None of us are exempt. No matter what our choices are, none of us are exempt from that dance. We're a part of the universal energy that is called life. And as such, I'm grateful for this moment. I'm grateful for this topic. And I'm grateful for bringing this to the forefront of our minds, because sometimes we can forget these silent warriors. I invite you to come on back and become aware of your seed again, as we talk about these awesome, awesome beings called plants, man. Plants. Love them so much. How are you feeling?
Feeling alright.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty darn good. Yeah. I'm a little mixture of Emmanuel. Now that you've been around me, you can kind of see where Emmanuel gets it, right?
Oh, I see it in both of you.
Yes, me and Norma, right?
It's so amazing how similar all four of you guys are. I'm
Speaking
waiting
of
for
our daughter,
Kareem
Allure.
to pick it up.
So you're okay with Kareem picking this up?
Oh, hell yeah. I want
That's
her to be
awesome.
bubbly and happy and spiritual like you guys, like her nanos.
Oh, that's so great. We're going to have so much fun going around in the universe and exploring our world and talking to ants and butterflies and trees. And yes, because we have to do this with our babies when they come in. They are a challenge, though, and sometimes we can experience life through them as they're exploring in our own curiosity, or we can just not shut it down. And that's why today we're talking about plants, our awareness of how amazing these amazing beings are. So let me tell you my plant story, y'all. And I have many. But my main one that I realized that it was replenishing for my soul as a caregiver and someone who works in the industry of caring for others. I was in Key West, and I went there for the second round of doing my volunteer work for COVID. I was doing contact tracing and testing. We had testing sites set up at the college, thousands of people coming through. We were there in Key West because there was a huge outbreak when they had lifted the ban, the travel ban, the first time. So we came in as nurses to help flatten that curve too. This is after New York had calmed down and things were starting to unfold again and everything was okay. I'm in Key West. I'm by myself for the very first time in, 13, 14 years with my wife. I had never been away from her. I don't tend to sleep well if she's not right there because I tend to wake up and think about her and are you okay and that sort of thing. So I'm in Key West. I'm having a hard time falling asleep all by myself, not to mention my own anxiety around my past trauma. I said, okay. I reached into my tool belt and I said, okay, what can I do to help me? Because during the day, people are so afraid, they're pulling on our energy. They are in panic mode. We're in a pandemic. Here you are, the one in the spacesuit, poking them through the nose, all the way in the back of their head, having to explain that, listen, I'm so sorry, it sucks, but here we are. You know, all of that stuff that's going on, I have to replenish myself so that I don't accidentally break protocol, get harmed myself in the process of taking care of some of these people who are positive. And I have to treat everybody as if they're positive. I am in a state of tightness. And my wife, who is my therapy human, is not there. She is back in Ocala and I'm by myself and my dog is not there. So I decided, what else? I need something else living in the space to help me feel like I'm not alone. Because my trauma happened to me when I was alone or seeming to be alone. And so that's where a lot of my fear and anxiety comes from. I said, okay, I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to get a plant and bring it to this hotel room and the staff won't be mad at me, right? If I come in with it was a gift. It's just a little cactus. He's going home with me.
What's he going to do? Put on the carpet?
Exactly. So I decided this was okay, just like flowers or whatever. I figured it was okay. Went to the store, brought back this plant. It turns out it's a little money plant. I was like, oh, look at that. And she was gorgeous. I named her Daphne. Norma swears that it was a different name, but I think this was the name all along. Who knows? But her name is Daphne now. She is one of the only houseplants here in Your Phoenix is Rising. And she has a very prominent space in our big room where we gather for sound baths. Miss Daphne is present because she was with me and we spoke every night. And there she is. Isn't she gorgeous? She's in that little space right there with the window. Yes, my dear. And when we have drum circles and all of that, Miss Daphne is present and she is thriving. And I go over there and I touch her little leaves and I talk to her and I made a boo-boo and lit some incense and singed her little leaves a little bit, but I have asked for forgiveness. But I just feel like having her in the space with me when I was in that hotel room, seeing her grow every day, touching her leaves, looking at look, there's a new little sprout. It didn't make me realize that I was in that hotel room by myself, quote unquote, for 2 weeks. 2 weeks I was all by myself. And I believe that it really buffered the fear and anxiety having a houseplant in the room. And then I started to think, well, how many people have plants in their lives, in their house? Diego is saying very therapeutic, just ready to transplant, right? And we have a garden, and Corbin has been here in the garden here at our place, our home, and our wellness center, because we live right above the wellness center. I'm telling you, it's been so therapeutic to go out and ground and to watch the plants sprout and to talk to them. When we had tomatoes, man, I would sit here in the office and stare out. I'd be like, oh my God, it's red. I see a spot of red. That means I can take it from the vine. Yay. I mean, I get very excited about it. It's the most exciting thing. But now I had never thought of doing this. And because of the green skin, I didn't ask you to bring one in, but Corbin has introduced me to these little tiny houseplants that I can actually take care of. Because here's my dilemma. When we leave town, I'm like worried that Miss Daphne won't get enough water. And so I drown her with water and then hope that nothing happens, hope for the best. But I would love to come up with some kind of system for her, just her, but I'd hate to, then have to expand myself. But right now we have these little tiny bottles of water all over this house. And in them are these little tiny sprouts that are growing, little roots showing up every day because of Corbin. Since she's been here, she said, what do? You like walk around and pick up pieces that fall off of plants and stuff?
Well, kind of. They either fall off or I have to cut them off, or sometimes they're just gifted to me. Hell, sometimes you just see them already cut on the ground. Like, perfect. Thank you. Just go to Walmart. You can find succulent leaves everywhere. Just pick them up. They don't care. I worked there.
They've already fallen. And she propagates them as they have fallen. Yeah. And then they sprout. There's these little baby plants all over this place. They actually brought plants all the way from Washington State with them.
They somehow survived.
They survived what was it, like a week?
5 days.
5 days to drive to get here. No water, no nothing, because they had to be stacked in that. The car was squished with stuff.
Basically, I wrapped all of them in soaked paper towel. I soaked them. I was drowning them, but
in paper towels.
In paper towels. And my original plan was to just take cellophane and clear duct tape and just wrap it. We didn't have any, so I had to take Scotch tape and try to dampen the paper towels as many times as possible, and then put layers and layers of dry ones over top and hope they'll just keep the moisture. Mm-hmm. And they almost all of them survived. Mm-hmm. Only one of them died, but that's okay.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, propagate, man. Because here's the thing. I feel like, why does somebody go through all of that for a plant? I know people go through that for their animals, right? Your pets are really connected. Oh my God, this is my baby, part of my life. But a plant.
The thing with plants, the difference between plants and pets, plants are more free than they are with pets. Mm-hmm. You can just, especially in Florida, you can go outside, chop off a piece of Monstera, plunk it in water of some jar of old pasta you already cleaned out. Free plant. Just take some dirt outside, plop. It's perfect. You got a plant.
And it's so much easier. It's free. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Animals are cool too.
Animals are great. If you have one, love them, cuddle them, up until I don't know.
Until they want to walk away.
Until they just want to walk away, like Serafina.
Yeah. But the plants though, when we are talking about, and that's what today's topic is about the therapeutic benefits of actually having plants around. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's not only do they clean the air.
Yes, specific plants are air purifying. I know snake plants and spider plants are air purifying plants, and they're extremely easy to take care of, especially snake plants. You can put them in any place. It doesn't matter if they're in pitch black or bright light, they will grow, and you can neglect them. I forgot about mine for probably a few weeks, and there was already new growth.
So it sounds like, for those of us who thought that we had a brown thumb, for years, you guys, I thought I had a brown thumb. I mean, I knew I had an actual brown thumb, but come on. And I thought, there's got to be some part of me that's connecting. I love nature so much, and I love plants so much. Why can't I encourage a plant to grow? And then I decided it's because I was ignorant to what they needed. I did not take the time to learn about what they needed. And I'm going to encourage y'all, those of you who say, well, I can't keep a plant alive, it's because you do not know what the plant needs. There are apps. I'm dead serious. There is an app for that. Yeah, I downloaded my little app, and I was able to, and of course we're jumping ahead a little bit, but right. But thinking about the benefits that can come into your life, not only is it that you have another energy in the room with you. The main thing they need is your attention. Exactly. But you have to just kind of look at them and say, okay, what is going on with you? I mean, nowadays you can just get online and go click with your phone and take a picture of it, and it'll tell you, hey, this is what I need.
Yeah.
And then you just readjust yourself accordingly. Or when you get the plant, just ask. Ask the people you get it from. Hey, how do I take care of it?
You just ask any people around you. Like my own grandmother, she graduated from a local college in Washington, and so she's now considered a master gardener. She attends like events, a lot of events that the county hosts, and she goes there as like a guest of honor or something. And her and my grandfather used to grow tomatoes and would make profit. That's basically was their job.
Nice.
It was amazing. Unfortunately, she's now too old and frail to do any of that. She still has houseplants, that's about it, but nothing like what she used to do, unfortunately. You would have loved their greenhouse, and it was like a jungle when I was like 5.
Oh,
it was amazing.
Yeah, I bet it. So do you plan on having a greenhouse?
I would love to have a greenhouse, but probably not like theirs. Just like a basic small one so I can actually maintain it, especially nowadays. Like you saw their greenhouse, right? You've been to my grandmother's house?
I didn't look at the greenhouse.
Yeah, and then Norma was there. It's very, very big, much, much taller than this house.
Yeah, I can imagine.
My grandfather built it himself.
Wow. That's incredible, you guys. But you know, she kind of passed on the love for plants to you.
But the funny thing is, my mother, she had the hardest. Oh, I'm sorry, I was reading that. Yeah, that's awesome. Tomatoes. My mother would always complain that she can't grow any plants. Like what you said, she thinks she always had a brown thumb and could only just keep already alive plants alive. That's not true. She actually grew some plants. She propagated some plants. She's taking care of my biggest plant that I couldn't bring because it was too big. And she has this peace lily that I remember seeing it. It was really small. It was like, it's huge, breaking out of its like clay pot. It's flowering like every month, and it's never done this before until my mom started actually like figuring out how to take care of it.
Yeah. So it just takes a little bit of effort, right?
Yeah, a little bit of study. Not that much.
Just
actually.
looking it up a little bit online and then saying, hey. So
and trial and error.
What is the reason why you are so in love with these plants? Like, is it because of your grandmother, you think?
I'm actually not too sure. It just became a thing. In high school, I was like extremely depressed. I still kind of am, but not as bad. You would have hated me. And I was on YouTube, and one of my favorite YouTubers, Jenna Marbles, did a plant tour. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. This is really pretty. I would love to have a plant too. And she's like describing them as friends and stuff. Like one of them she named Miss Keisha. And she loves this plant to death. And clearly she does, because it looks like it's thriving in that video.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, plants. I'm going to do a trend, I guess. I got my first spider plant, and it did not last because my room was too dark. I skipped off. So for somebody with
depression,
if your room
having to open up the windows a little bit to let the light in so that your plant doesn't die.
Exactly. You need that, or a completely light tolerant plant. The spider plant wasn't. I ended up abandoning that for a good few years until 2020 rolled around, and I was in my relationship with both Emmanuel and Talia, and we were living in the apartment with our good friend at the time. And the pandemic hit, and we were in our apartment for weeks. We barely left. And I'm like, screw this. This is gonna be the apocalypse. I'm gonna grow food. I went to the dollar store. I got as much like seeds as possible that's easy to grow, and I started growing. None of them grow to full capacity because we unfortunately had to move out, and our roommate got a back injury and couldn't take care of him anymore, and he died. I don't blame him. It's not his fault. That's life. And so after that, I just continued getting more and more plants. The only plants that actually survived were 2 spider plants I had, and they lived for another about 2 or 3 years. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Sometimes they leave us, and you
It
try.
was actually my fault. I left them out in the cold.
Oh, yeah, that happens. That freeze, man. It'll get so every time
especially
it gets
Washington.
really. I'm telling you, it gets when they give that freeze warning. I'm like, oh my god, my plants!
Yeah, you really
running out
need
there with the blankets and the sheets and trying to cover everybody. And oh my god, this one needs to tuck it in, tuck it in. Oh my goodness, we're all gonna learn to grow food in our yards eventually.
I looked that up actually. I wanted to do that for my parents because they have a huge enough yard that they could actually grow quite a few crops for like our little neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so I looked up on how to do that, and it's way more work than you think.
Oh, I can imagine that's a lot of work. That's why I haven't done it. I started researching a little bit, and then I was like,
with your land, it's smaller than what I was thinking.
Oh, no, I would be growing like vertically in a greenhouse.
Ooh.
Where I wouldn't have to deal with lizards.
You
understand? Me and the baby dragons, man. I've been doing some immersion therapy, walking outside, allowing myself to be in the same space with them.
Why don't we get a greenhouse? There are these small versions that you're able to seal off, or you can make one. So when you make one out of reclaimed windows, and it still works like a greenhouse.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about it. Yeah.
It's really smart, and I know you guys are already at a humid state, but there are just those plants that needed like really humid, like Brazil, and
Jamaica.
There you go.
Yeah, like some Jamaican plants. That would be so
Jamaica was that humid.
Oh, it's humid. It's just not as hot.
Really?
Yeah, it's because
cold and humid.
It's not cold. It's not as hot like temperature wise because it's the wind is always blowing. So even though it's humid, you feel the breeze constantly. It's like putting a fan on. So even though if you're standing in the sun, you're like, oh my gosh, the minute you step under a shade tree, you cool down immediately. And then add a cold jelly coconut with the water to that. Yes.
Coconut
Y'all know what the coconut water with they're not kidding with the lime, man. But the lime and the coconut. And then, stick the straw in. And that was one experience that we did in Tingale is that one of the guests were like, oh, I have to have this experience. And then she missed it when the guy showed up to sell us the jelly coconuts. So we had her go into the kitchen and the chef did it. He showed her, with a machete and blah, 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 and then whacked it off and then allowed her to put her straw in it and enjoy it.
That's awesome.
It was great. She's like, it's the only experience I want to do is put the lime in the coconut. We're like, okay, normally we don't put the lime in the coconut. You know that, right? That's not really a thing. But
it just sounds like a lot of work. But
it's a lot of work.
It's fun for tourists.
Oh man, it's not a lot of work though. This guy, when I tell you, this gentleman, he did like maybe 6 whacks. I'll show you the video. Whack, 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 whack. 1. Whack, 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 whack. 2. I was
like a factory.
What? Like seriously, like he was no joke with that machete. It was great. Transformational retreat. Hey, transformational vacation. We are talking about going to Jamaica, y'all. So here's why we decided to do this thing called the transformation vacation. I felt disconnected from my homeland. I'm not gonna lie. I really did. There's a lot of pain from my childhood wrapped up in being an immigrant and being from Jamaica and all of that. The stories flood back. And it took me years to get to this point. Now I'm looking at repairing my love for the island because I always had this love, hate, love, hate, love, hate. I went home a couple of times and got to experience the tourist life because I was there working at the resort. So I got to experience all the stuff that the tourists were experiencing. And I thought, I love this. But I also love being a local. You get to the little mom and pop dive shop down the street. And then, Miss Joan down the way who got the new jelly coconut. Now she want to give the person a blah, blah, blah. All those experiences you miss when you become a tourist. Because you get the professional air that happens, that happens in tourism. Hey, no problem. Here you are. Take care of the tourists. What we discovered is that we decided we wanted to go home and experience both. Be a local and get the frills and thrills of being a tourist. The only thing I did not like about being on the resort is that, yes, it's nice to meet new people, but when I'm there to do a sacred journey or do some repair work for myself, I just want to be left alone. And I don't want to have to deal with the drama of others unless other people are in the same journey as me.
Yeah.
you know? So that's why we said, let us go ahead and rent our own space that no one else, except for our people. We keep it a sacred vessel. So whatever we create and share in that sacred vessel throughout the week is what is created. Tingalayas showed up. After we had put a down payment on something else, Tingalayas showed up. And speaking of plants, they have the most beautiful garden area in Tingalayas. You can stay on the garden side or the ocean side, depending on which room you purchase or rent. But what we did was we took the resort, the excursions, the food, the drink, everything is included. From the moment you step foot on Jamaican soil off the airport, out of the airport, you come out, we collect you in the van, and we take you right to the resort. We hire a chef, and the whole time you get to interact with the staff. You interact with my family that comes and visits. We hang out with my best friend in Jamaica, and we go on adventures together. And I take Americans who want to see Jamaica without having to worry about the other stuff. And we do some of the touristy stuff. So we at least do one major touristy thing. And last time that we went, I think we did a couple of major touristy things. But this time, the major touristy thing, I think, is ATVs. I think that's going to be fun. ATVs on the beach. Wouldn't that be awesome? That would be so much fun.
Yeah. I never rode a quad.
Yeah. I think it would be really fun there, and right there on the beach, or or a whole bunch of other stuff that happens in the grill. It's an amazing space, and definitely one of a kind experience, and on the bucket list for very many people. A lot of people. Yeah, man. Exactly. Diego, you're gonna come, right? I'm just saying that the link is below, you guys. You want to go ahead and reserve your spot, even if you just go ahead and pay down for your reservation and then make your payments, because a lot of stuff that I do on layaway, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I take my time. I take my little every single month or every single week or every 2 weeks. I get my little money. I put it towards something. And yes, it is difficult to do and to discipline, but it feels like a treat for me, is to be able to say yes. And the reason it's called a transformation vacation is because we're talking about your mind, your body, your spirit. And we take our time with everybody. We only have 12 guests at maximum that are on the resort with our staff. And I think we have 7 staff members. And we have that whole space. Oh, I haven't done a day trip to Fern Gully. Yes. I would love to do that. Yes. I have not done the day trip to Fern Gully yet, because I did it when I was a kid, and it doesn't count because I don't remember it very much. But I think we did a church trip or something when I was young.
Is a real place. I really know about
Yes, it's in Jamaica.
Yeah. Are they full of fairies?
I wouldn't doubt it, but there's some fairies there. Oh my gosh. We should probably think about going to Fern Gully.
You know what movie I'm talking about. The actual movie.
I know exactly the one that you're talking about. Hello. Of course I know Fern Gully. Hello, Robin Williams. Hey. Hey, that's going to be one of the topics one of these days. We're going to talk about cartoons.
Kareem's going to see that.
But I just feel like, Tingalayas, man. And I feel like we nurture and uplift our mind, body, and our spirit, and then we take our time with ourselves. And if our body says rest, we rest, and we rest as a group. We're going to just take the day off. Let's just hang out. Or, hey, we want to go on an adventure? Sure. Everybody feels like, let's go today. Let's hop in the car and go see Jamaica. Whatever it is we need to do, we do it as a group. And then we eat yummy food, and we listen to singing bowls, and we do meditation, and we and we spin around on the stripper pole, y'all. There's a stripper pole. I'm so excited about that. I didn't have to shut that part of myself off. It's wonderful. All right, let's take a quick break. And thank you so much, Corbin, for joining me. My wife is coming back with me. Yay! Thank you, guys. Come on back.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment. inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment, and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Like so far here at the Transformation Vacation?
To say transformational is not quite big enough. It has been so amazing. The people have been amazing. The food, the beaches are exactly what you expect them to be. You can see through it. I went snorkeling and saw starfish and all kinds of beautiful fish. It's been amazing. And most importantly, everyone who said yes to this has just been inspirational and really just a connection has been made that will last a lifetime.
It will. It
yes,
so will.
It will.
So I can't wait to see y'all next time. Come on to Jamaica, man. Don't forget, Yaman. Yaman.
I just laugh every time I see that video.
I know. It's so funny. Like, people make fun of me whenever I speak and say Yaman or anything like that. I don't know. I go back and forth.
Well, actually, probably Yaman is the only thing you said that doesn't really sound very Jamaican.
What, Yaman?
Yes. You get some really Jamaican comments going, and Yaman, you sound kind of touristy.
I do?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
I can tell you talking from Kathy on that part.
Yaman. I don't know. That's what people recognize about Jamaica, so hey, whatever. I think I have adopted it when it became Jamaican.
Yaman.
So my wife is back, Norma Anderson. Yay. I missed you. It was great hanging out with Corbin. Though.
It was fun watching Corbin actually talk on screen to
I know.
people.
She did that because of me. She loves
me.
Loves
you, yes.
She did that because of me. She came down and she said, okay, I'll talk about plans. Because Norma was like, I'm not the one.
I got nothing. Be a short show.
So, okay, so I'm glad that you said that, because this modality, again, all of these things that we tell people, hey, these are just suggestions, y'all. These are things that we have done ourselves and said, hey, I think this helped me feel better. It helped me replenish my cup a little bit. I do a little bit of all of it, all the time, every day.
Yeah, I think I was scarred as a child with plants because my mom had the green thumb. But I was always the one digging in the weeds, pulling them out.
So you think maybe that's what?
So that was
your hatred for me, for being outside,
for dealing with greenery. Period. Because I was, mom could make anything grow, and then from then on, I guess I always had in my head that I couldn't. So I just killed things when I touch it, and so that's why I don't do plants. And everybody that's ever dated me knows not to send me roses or flowers or.
I just want to hug the little girl in you. Aww. I just want to hug the little girl in you and give you a little bit of love.
Unless it's an edible arrangement.
That's not a plant.
They look like it.
They do look like it. But that's a little bit of love to your inner child, because yes.
Thank you.
That little bit of repair around that. So how do you feel about Daphne? You remember when I told you about Daphne?
Yes, when you first introduced me to her as Deborah. Yeah.
Were you jealous?
No, I wasn't. You never asked me to do anything with her, so I had nothing. I think I watered her once or twice.
You did.
But I didn't have to actually touch her, so she's still alive.
I really believe that you can yes, I think plants can respond to you if you just believe in yourself.
But there you'd be walking into a territory where I'd have to actually want to
touch the plants. Yes.
Doesn't call me. Sorry.
It's not your thing.
Nope.
Isn't that interesting?
That's-
I am it's so in love with this thing, and my baby is like, I got nothing.
We'll be sitting around and she'll like, I want to go outside and ground and touch the trees and play with
There's
the
her little
peach
throne
tree.
again.
Yeah, she's got her own little perch where she is the queen of the room.
Yeah, she's actually in the office right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at
But
her.
because of the background, I can't put her up. Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like, okay, it works for me because it slows me down. So this is why plants work for me. Okay. And it may be why it doesn't work for you because it's too slow.
I'm already slowed down.
You are right. It's too slow. And if you get around them and start to watch plants, you'll be like, okay, I'm bored. Right? So maybe that's what it is. Whereas with my anxiety, the fact that everything's going and firing fast all the time, and I've never been diagnosed with ADHD or anything like that, so I can only imagine what people with ADHD go through. But the fact that I'm always firing all the time and always on go, plants force me to, oh, look at that beautiful little rose over there. Or, I should stop and smell the blah, blah, blah. I got a small hydroponic grower for Christmas. It's so super easy. Norma, I bet you could grow some great plants with this. Aw, can you share it in the link, Diego, so other people can, I mean, we're not promoting anybody, but, if somebody has like a really helpful link, why not? We can share it. That way people can grab it and go with it, They may not have found it otherwise. I think that's awesome. Thank you, Diego.
Yeah, and whether I would like it or not, my wife would take it over. But
Yes. I will, though, because I love to watch things grow. I do. I feel like when I watch things grow, it reminds me that there is something bigger behind everything. And that, for me, it feels so effortless. Like I fell asleep, woke up, and my sunflowers are this big already. And this was yesterday. They're this big. And I'm like, if I stood here long enough, I could probably hear it or see it growing.
they wait till you leave.
They wait till I leave?
Yep.
Same thing the fairies do. But it's okay. We're friends now. But I think that's the thing. It forces me to stop in that moment, and I have to breathe, because you can't be in the space of appreciation of a plant without taking a moment to take that breath and admire. And it's a very slow thing. So for you, you're already kind of chill already, so you don't need the extra buffer that is plants. That's probably why the medicine doesn't appeal to you.
That is true. Because, like you said, there's, many different modalities that we've introduced. And, some people will think, oh, yeah, I'll try that. It seems like it would work. And others will be with that same thing. I'm not doing that. So that's why we have so many different tools to pick from.
Yep.
A lot of arsenal in our tool belt.
Yep, absolutely. So where are some of the places that we can learn about this modality? Well, when it comes to like hydroponics, Diego kind of mentioned that. For those of you who are thinking about, hey, I don't want to just have houseplants, I actually want to grow something. There are growers groups, there are Facebook pages, there are all kinds of stuff. All you have to do is Google. I mean, it's like crazy. Amazon, you can order the thing from Amazon.
Any nursery, those people that are working, they just want to share all their information because of their passion.
Walmart.
Yeah.
If you want to start small, start with one little tiny plant and see how you do, and then add a friend, and then see how you do, and then add another friend. But bringing the outside in. And I have little tiny baby plants now, little growing things on the altar. And I've had an inside altar now for a couple of years since we moved here. And I had never had an actual growing plant on the altar. And then Corbin showed up, and now we have 3.
We've got plants everywhere now.
We have plants all over this house because of Corbin. And one of them came from a friend, Christina. She put a little fairy bench in there, 2 little gnomes. He's so cute.
Like go clean.
Aha. Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you, Diego. I appreciate that. But what was I saying? Where else you can find out about this? Nurseries, like Norma said. You can go to the library and find out information.
Google.
Google. Just Google it, y'all. And all of this stuff, just Google it. It's just everywhere. And there are groups. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to be into this by yourself. You don't have to be like, I'm the only weirdo that's into this. No, there's a whole bunch of other weirdos just like us. And it's wonderful. Because I got to tell you, as a nurse, it's nice when I get to talk to a patient about something like this. Especially if I ask them that question. This is one of the things that Ocala Regional has been doing now, is saying, what's one thing about the patient that has nothing to do with their disease process?
That's amazing. That's amazing. Kind of encourages to get to know you process.
Yeah.
Where do I get these hiccups from?
I don't know. Would you like someone?
Yes, please.
Yes.
But speaking of the nurseries and people that can help you to learn more about these plants, I was in there at Lowe's getting something, the cover for the sand bed, and these beautiful purple plants went by, and they were like in a ball. So I stopped the lady, asked her what they were, and she told me, I'm gonna mess it up because I wrote it down. Hydrangeas, something like that.
I know. I think
like,
I've heard of.
We need to get some of those.
I've seen them before. I've decided I need to plant some. Apparently, garlic has a really nice flower. I'm hoping it doesn't stink too much, but it
keeps away lizards.
Keeps away the baby dragons. They don't like it. But they're doing such a great job as pest control, though. So I hate to, it's a double-edged sword there. I might be weird, but at least I'm a happy freak. That's what Diego says. Isn't that so true? I'm telling you. It's nice to know, though, when you're thinking about, okay, I use this modality, too, to help me. And then you get with others that are like that, too. And you're thinking, thank you. I don't feel like, is it just me or does this really help people? And when other people stand up and say, yeah, you know what, it really does help, I feel validated. I feel like, okay, I know what I'm talking about. Because I'm not going to mention anything on this Caring for Caregivers if I haven't at least tried it myself.
I found them.
She found it. Hydrangeas. Shawana, girl, what's up, my cuz? Hydrangeas are my favorite. Yes. I did not know that. So now Norma has discovered that's her favorite too. My favorite are roses. Every color, every shape, every size. I guess that's why they were the bouquet at her wedding. I didn't remember that.
Well, they've been married a long time now. You've seen the whole remember when videos come through.
Remember when?
Yeah.
Remember when? But yeah, hydrangeas. So is that what you would consider now your favorite plant?
I would have to go with yes.
Really?
Since it's the only one that's ever called to me.
And this is big, y'all. Norma has connected to a plant. Mm-hmm. We should go get a hydrangea.
It took 55 years, but I found something.
We should go get a hydrangea. So for our 15-year anniversary, we decided not to get. She knows I love roses. It's not something she used to get all the time because I'm like, we could come up for 5 million other things to spend the money on except for the roses, right? But Norma and I decided that for 15-year anniversary, we would get ourselves roses, but get them in a plant
bush,
and then plant them in our yard. So that's what we did.
They've been giving off some beauties.
Yes, but now they're looking a little sad, and I'm wondering if they're just being dramatic. That's what Corbin said. Corbin said, well, you did put down the soil, and you did put the fertilizer down, and roses can be very fragile and hard to do. She's so sweet, this girl. Her voice is just so beautiful. Y'all got to experience it earlier. She's so calm and beautiful.
Sounds like she sings when she talks.
Yes, she does, and she's so beautiful to be in her energy space. And she says, maybe it's just being dramatic. And I thought, okay, because of course I was starting to beat myself up. Donna, you killed your anniversary gift. The darn roses, because it took so long for us to get them repotted. And so I was like, oh no, but I'd like to think they're like me and dramatic.
Maybe you're not dramatic.
I am dramatic. It's
okay.
It's all right.
I was just trying to.
No, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with being dramatic.
Okay.
I don't stop others from being dramatic if they want to be dramatic too. And I don't try to let my drama overshadow anybody else's need to be dramatic.
Is it a Jamaican thing or just your family thing?
I don't know.
Because everyone,
I think it's a Jamaican thing.
Is dramatic.
It's a cultural thing. Yeah, Jamaican people are very expressive people.
Is Melvin related to you?
Probably, yes. He's my favorite brother. He's my favorite brother. We just didn't know it until we met.
Wow.
That's her birth brother, but now my favorite brother.
Yes.
Melvin. Oh.
And it's funny because of all our family members that we could invite to our son's wedding this weekend, her sister and my brother, and it was like an oh my god party.
It was so
Oh my
much fun.
god!
It was so much fun having them in the same space in different areas doing their thing, and oh man, the diversity of people that were here to celebrate CJ and Emily was just incredible.
It was beautiful.
I wish we could have a much bigger space to invite everybody we want to invite, but alas, 60 people and they get to pick them.
We got to pick 10.
Yeah. Yeah. We're like, but,
and that was including us.
But, and our children. 2 kids.
But it was a blast. All his friends were fun. Yeah. Our family was crazy.
Yeah, it was nice. It was very nice. So what else did we need to talk about? Did I go through all my talking points? Where do you find this? When do you use this modality? Okay. Plants. When would you use plants? Can y'all bring up that picture right there? I have one big plant. It's not a house plant. It's a tree. There she is. Grandmother tree. This is a camphor tree, and this is the reason we bought this house. I love this amazing sentient being that sits right there protecting our house and home and just loving on us. And oh my gosh, I make people stop and greet the tree. That's how special she is to me, for real.
And they get it when you do it.
They get it. They get it when I do it, and I show them, because it's easy to. I said, "Did you see the tree?" And they're like, "Sure, we saw the tree." And I'm like, "Did you see the tree, though? Did you actually see her?" And most people, when I back them up to this focal point right here that you guys are looking at, you get a chance to see her and that beautiful, glorious crown of hers, and just you get it. You get it. And so, for me, I think the best time to use this modality, which is connecting to plants, connecting to nature, connecting to specifically to plants and trees. Grandmother Camphor, when I come home from work, from the hospital, and I'm exhausted, and my feet hurt, my back hurts, I am so frustrated with the nursing industry as a whole. I'm disgusted with the patient load ratio. I am pissed off because I didn't get to eat and take a time to do whatever my break. I'm tired and I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I might have had a bad shift. Or even if I didn't have a bad shift and I just had a regular shift, even if it was a good shift, I come home and the first thing I do, even through my phobia of lizards, which is a big one, I go over to that tree, Grandmother Camphor tree, and I put my hand out. If there's lizards, then I don't touch because, I don't want to be triggered. But I put my hand and I touch her. And it feels as if the energy shifts from my body and grounds me back into the earth. I feel like the screaming slows down and the beeping dissipates into the distance. And I remember that it's just a job and that I don't need to bring it into my home.
That's why you come home every day for your lunch half hour.
Yes, because I work so close by, I can come home. And when I come home for my lunch, if it's been a very difficult beginning of my shift, I say, okay, Norma gets in here, she's getting me my lunch. I go and I ground on the grounds. I walk outside. I touch the growing things. I touch the tree. I just stand back and breathe and just remember that we are in a great big universe and that my story and the story that is my job as a nurse is nothing but a part of my story. And that reminds me of my place in the universe in that moment. That if I was to blink out of existence tomorrow, my story is just that stuff, my job. The hurt back, the feet, whatever that is I did today as a nurse. It's part of my story. Just like COVID, the pandemic was part of my story. This too is part of my story. But Grandmother Camphor has been standing here for 200-300 years, breathing. She knows how to reconnect to nature. And so I let it happen. And I let her remind me, and I let the anxiety dissipate. and I remember why I'm here. And then I remember the love of my family and why I work hard. And then I remember, and it all dissipates and goes in the background. And that's a part of my start to my recharge. And then I walk in the door and I see my little dog, and she smiles at me with that little face and wags her little tail. She's so excited to see me, and that recharges me. And I reach down and I say hello and I hug my wife, and that recharges me. And all of these things that we do, all these tools that we do, recharges us. You may not have a dog, you may not have a plant, you may not have a Norma, but you have other things in your life that you can use to help recharge you so that you can step back out and give your gift again, so that you can be the best caregiver that you can be.
And that's the main goal, right? Because if you can replenish and recharge, then you're able to give.
Yeah, because I remember when I was a little kid and people asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I said, I want to be a doctor and take care of people who are sick because I want everybody to feel better. That was my thing, and I spoke it out into the universe. I know I'm not a doctor right now, but I feel like there's different ways that we can care for the people who are sick.
I would call you a metaphysical doctor.
A metaphysical doctor?
Yes.
Well,
because you are very much a healer of the.
Yeah.
Not mind.
That's what I do through my ministry. I want to connect to that.
So medically, you're not a doctor, no.
Yeah.
But.
And it's not to say I'm only 47 years old, y'all. It don't mean that I ain't going to be Dr. Reverend, blah, blah, blah at some point. You never know. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun adventure. And when it calls to me and says, you should go into study again, then I'll be a student again. And I will study and soak in some more. And that's how I'm doing it. I listen to what Spirit says in the moment, and I take the next step. Because I've learned that that's the only way to quell my anxiety. Because if not, the fibromyalgia pain, when I tell you my anxiety shows up and it comes with diarrhea and IBS and fibromyalgia pain, y'all don't play with me. Some people think, oh, I just have a little anxiety. No, it comes with physical stuff that shows up. And I'm not the only one. Tons and tons of nurses tell me the same thing. Girl, when I'm here, I get migraines. We're not replenishing. And so we need to pay attention to our physical body and our mental body and our spiritual body. And we need to be careful so that we can be empathetic and we can soak in the pain of the thousands, those of us who are the buffer for that, for babies who are being murdered and kids who are being molested and all this awful, awful stuff in the world. We feel it on vibrationally kicking off of our energy centers. And how can we help to replenish and give again and replenish and give again while we're healing the planet? We do this healing for ourselves. So here we are. I love y'all so much. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad y'all joined us. And we talked about plants, even though my wife is like, but hydrangeas, we're going to get her a hydrangea, y'all. Hey, maybe we should get one that's an indoor hydrangea. I wonder if that's a thing. Maybe she can sit next to Daphne.
I think Daphne has her throne. I think I want to find, hopefully, they're actually cool. I did ask a little bit about them, but they like the cool spots, the shade. So right up next to the house somewhere is probably going to be where they're good to be. Purple plant, purple house. You know. Look
at my wife thinking about where the plant would love to be.
Told you they.
She's connecting, y'all. Growth is occurring.
Helpful.
Oh, but you're getting it now, so you know.
Am I?
Yes, you're getting it now. Okay, take that feeling that you have and dial it up like 1,000,000. That's how I feel about plants and nature. That feeling.
1,000,000 though?
1,000,000.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
it's
powerful.
Pretty intense. It's pretty intense. Yeah. That feeling of, oh, that's beautiful. Or, oh, that smells great. Yeah. 1,000,000.
So I guess that's all for this week, guys.
I know. And take care of yourself.
Look forward to talking to you again next week.
Yes. Caring for caregivers. See y'all next time. Bye.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
So Kathy, what's the experience been like so far here at the Transformation Vacation?
To say transformational is not quite big enough. It has been so amazing. The people have been amazing. The food, the beaches are exactly what you expect them to be. You can see through it. I went snorkeling and saw starfish and all kinds of beautiful fish. It's been amazing. And most importantly, everyone who said yes to this has just been inspirational and really just a connection has been made that will last a lifetime.
It will. It
Yes,
so will.
it will.
So I can't wait to see y'all next time. Come on to Jamaica, man. Don't forget, yeah, man.